There is there's several movements going on in the United States concerning reparations. And the reason why that's apropos on this channel is because reparations is a historic or historical topic. It is about people speaking about being repaired now, about injustices that occurred in the past, and the past being historical times, antebellum, post Civil War. Most people are thinking about, and I don't understand this, as much wealth was built in this country post Civil War as it was before the Civil War. Because you got to think about it. The nation's economy changed. Once slavery was removed, we were much less agricultural, yet the systems put in place, black codes, convict leasing, Jim Crow, legalized segregation, anti-Brown verdict resistance, anti-civil rights resistance. All of this was about wealth, about getting homes, about getting jobs, education. All of these suppressions were the result of a gaining of wealth. So why is it that slavery is the top conversation for people who are debating reparations? Even ingenious people like Mark Lamont Hill, Dr. Mark Lamont Hill, who has an excellent channel I support. I cannot see how someone as brilliant as he is misses the fact that there was not just an extraction of wealth during slavery. There was an extraction of wealth in the 20th century. Plessy alone, the ignoring of the Reconstruction Amendments, which is only what the Civil Rights Act of 64 and the Voting Rights Act of 65 restated. There was 100-year period of wealth extracted or suppressed, potential wealth suppressed in the black community to be extracted by poor whites, and obviously the rich whites. So why is there no conversation about reparations for that period as well? And at the same time, my historic argument, I cannot let my brothers and sisters in the Native community down. Why are black people getting reparations first? Now, I am definitely not well versed in Native American reparations, but I do know, in my opinion, reparations should either not be a lump sum or it should not be money. A systematic taking of something can only be repaired systematically. If I give you one lump sum for something I did over a period of time, there is a cultural change. There is an intellectual change. There is a social change. There is a moral change. There is a religious change. There's a political change. There is an awareness that needs to take place over time that I am redefined in my new reality. And when people are saying, well, you can't tell who was a descendant of a slave, blah, 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 this, that, and the other. That's white people's fault. Because if 40 acres and a mule was carried out as soon as it happened, done. because they were giving out millions of acres of land to white people and to immigrants who weren't even citizens during the Homestead Act, during the Western expansion. They just purposely did not give it to them and kept kicking the can down the street. Now they're saying the can is too far away for us to be able to do it properly, when you didn't do it when you could have done it. But these are the same people that are giving money to Israel for Israel coming back to their land and getting something that they had title to over time. But they don't want to give title to their citizens for their labor, their equity, their revenues that was created years ago. So we have to look at things in a historical context. It's not just people are mad about the United States funding a Palestinian war. It's the hypocrisy of the democracy. And if we're not versed in Native American reparations, maybe we should be. Because I believe that reparations should go in three phases. Natives, because the land was taken first. Blacks, because they developed the eastern part of the country. Then Mexicans, because the western part of the country was taken from Mexico. So if we have a reparation argument, it has to be a historical argument. And if it is truly a historical argument, not an economic argument, that's where I think the problem is. Reparations cannot be an economic argument. There is no lump sum. They're saying that they can't find the descendants of slaves because it's, kind of quirky and a race mixing, all of that stuff. They really don't know. But let's say the owners of Seneca Village, which was Central Park, those families could easily be identified and their descendants could be, I think they said Central Park is worth $9 trillion or something. They could find out those owners and they could repair them. This is not in the country's interest. This is a country that pays billions of dollars, tens, if not hundreds of billions of dollars in military contracts, when it only takes tens of billions of dollars to end hunger in the United States. It only costs tens of billions of dollars to stop homelessness in the United States. Those things exist in this country because someone chooses for them to. And at what point do we stop asking for reparations? Why are we asking anybody for anything? If we can't take it, they're not going to give it. There is no heart in this group of people. They never cared. They never will care. Why are you still petitioning to somebody who has historically shown you that they don't care? They don't. They never will. You're petitioning to the people who did it. That's their children. There's no genetic mutation that has made their grandchildren different than they are. They are worried about them. They're worried about theirs. They're worried about stuff, external things. Their value is outside of them. And they're not going to negotiate what's outside of them to make you whole on the inside. They don't care. Historically, that's true. So this entire reparations conversation, I think, is underdeveloped. If something was systematically taken away, it should be systematically returned. There should be no interest rates for these groups. They still need to qualify, but no interest rates, no down payment. There should be no tuition. Whites went to these schools tuition free for about 100 years. And then by the time we got to go, then they start charging. So I'm not saying do anything different from us. I'm saying doing the same thing you did for the American white working class when they got land grants to develop land and free land. They got economic floor. Give us that economic floor. When they got mortgages with little or no down payment or little or no interest, do it for us now. Your grandparents got it, mine didn't. But the difference is we put the financial infrastructure in place. We are indigenous here. We were here before the United States. Most other people came after. So everyone who is standing on the benefits of those who need to be repaired needs to understand that history. Nobody's giving anybody anything. Your boss doesn't give you your check. You pick up the check that you earned. So there has to be a different mindset. We can't appeal to people for something. And we have to build a power structure that is going to extract what we want as opposed to asking somebody to give it to us. That's just not in them. And they have justified their position and themselves for so long, they don't even know how to process anything from a perspective other than theirs. So why are you holding a conversation with someone who is not going to change? They're no different than their great grandparents. They like to think they are, but their great grandparents thought they were wonderful people. I don't understand the reparations approach or structure. Why does this stop at slavery? The advantage didn't stop at slavery.